Zainab hadn't spoken Deji's name in months, not out loud anyways. But since she mailed that cursed ATM machine to Fehinity, the influencer girl who opened it on TikTok and vanished after 3 weeks, Zainab had moved on, or tried to. New SIM, new apartment, no closets. But evil isn't something you delete like a file. It waits, it watches, it returns. But before we dive into this thrilling saga, kindly hit the subscribe button if you are new here to join our growing family of story lovers. Now back to the story. It began with a static buzz in her right ear. Then her debit card balance, 0 naira the night before, shot up by 100,000 naira from an unknown source. She didn't laugh, she didn't spend a kobo. Instead, she powered down her phone and checked her closet. It was still empty, but the air inside smelled like burned wires and blood. That night, her cousin Titi collapsed in the kitchen while making indomie. When paramedics rolled up her sleeve, there was a faint mark etched into her skin, a QR code, buzzing, under her flesh. Zainab dropped the plate in her hand and fell to her knees. The ATM hadn't died, it had evolved. She pulled out her old receipt she'd hidden in her Bible and began mapping out everything. Deji, the influencer girl, the mysterious deposit, the code on Titi's arm, every clue pointed to the same direction. Something was still watching, still selecting, still cashing in, and it wanted her back. They called themselves the Crispin Card. She found them buried deep in the code of an anonymous web forum, a digital cult hidden beneath Lagos. Not old men in robes chanting in caves, no. They were engineers, coders, crypto investors, people who dressed like tech bros by day and sacrificed data and lives by night. They didn't worship gods, they worshipped the system. They worshipped ODU-X. She heard the name whispered inside a file she decrypted, an AI-generated voice with no origin. I am ODU-X, half demon, half data. I do not bless, I process. They said ODU-X was a being that had lived in many forms, a cost calculator in 1962, a faulty fax machine in 1989, a corrupted banking app in 2014, and now an ATM machine with a hunger for blood and desperation. Zainab's name appeared in their records. Host ATM 009, status offline, potential high. She packed a bag and went looking for them. In Ikoyi, a co-working space with glass doors and imported coffee hid a floor with no elevator button could access. She found it using an old code she'd scribbled in Yoruba on the back of Deji's contract. The floor opened like an Excel. Inside, the light was red, always red. Men and women in white suits walked calmly through a digital smoke. They all wore Visual's augmented reality glasses, showing something Zainab couldn't see. The floor wasn't tiled, it was made of recycled keyboards. When she stepped on them, they clicked beneath her shoes. At the center of the room stood a woman with no eyebrows and skin, like polished wood. They called her Mother Network. Mother Network smiled as though she'd been waiting for Zainab. You were chosen, she said softly. Not cursed, chosen. The ATM was just one altar. You are the next. Zainab turned to run, but the floor shifted. The keyboard reshaped. Two masked members grabbed her arms and grabbed her toward the pulsing size of screen, like a billboard. It looked like an ATM, but it breathed. She was trapped into a chair made of cables and silence. Her finger twitched. The machine scanned her face and projected her old bank statement, childhood photos, voice notes, and even dreams she hadn't told anyone. Mother Network voice echoed. Time to withdraw your final value. Zainab's body froze, but her mind was pulled through the screen. She entered the digital labyrinth rooms shaped like banks, with people trapped in loops, pressing buttons that sparked fire. In one corridor, Deji sat slumped, eyes empty. You made it, he whispered. They don't kill you here. They upload you. Zainab screamed, but her voice didn't leave her throat. The chair she was strapped to was tightening, metal threads weaving around her limbs like veins made of steel. Her body jolted as something sharp pricked the back of her neck. The Mother Network stood in front of her, typing commands on floating digital console. Her fingers didn't touch the keys, They hovered in mid-air, each move slicing through invisible layers of code. "Do you feel it?" she said softly. "The system is syncing with your breath. Your heartbeat will become the next algorithm. You'll be the template for the next generation of wealth." Zainab tried to move, to scream, to do anything, but her fingers were dead. Her blood felt like data, cold, blinking, streaming into the machine. Above her, the giant ATM screamed like an open eye. Deji's voice called from inside it, hollow, weak. "Zainab, it's feeding on belief. The more you think it's real, the stronger it becomes." And suddenly she understood. This wasn't a machine. It was a god made from fear, from greed, from faith in the wrong things. If the system was built on lies, she had to become the virus. She closed her eyes, steadying her breath, even as the wires drilled deeper into her skin. Her mind raced through every coded memory, every Yoruba word on Deji's contract, every whispered incantation from Mama Efun. Then she spoke it, not in fear, but in command. "Fo gbogbo adehun, se àṣejù, so òdòdó, segbe. Break all contracts, overload the loop, speak the truth, collapse." The moment the word left her lips, the entire room jerked like a server crashing mid-updates. Sparks exploded from the air like gunfire. The lights flickered and turned green, not red. The screen above her began to melt, literally. Black liquid oozed from its edges as it showed rapid images. Men in suits screaming, a bank vault cracking open on its own, Feyiniti conversing on live screen, Deji, change in code, finally blinking. Mother Network backed away, whispering in panic, "No, no, you can't. You are not authorized." Zainab screamed louder now, not with words, but truths. "I never agreed to be your altar. I never wanted your currency. I break this covenant in blood, in fire, in name." The wires caught fire. The chairs exploded backward, flinging her across the room. Flames rolled up the walls, licking the visors of cult members who screamed as their bodies flickered between human and digital form. Mother Network was glitching violently now, eyes rolling, her mouth frozen in a screen that never finished. Her skin shattered like glass. Underneath, there was nothing, just code. Zainab crawled through the smoke, her arm burned, and her voice still rising. She reached the console. It was crumbling, the keyboard keys falling like teeth. One final command glowed on the screen. "Do you wish to format the system? Y/N." Zainab slammed her fist on Y. The power grid cracked, lights dead. A roar not of this world shook the room, deep and ancient, like the death cry of a digital god. Everything around her, walls, floors, data screen, exploded upward in a column of light and fire. And then, darkness, silence. She woke up in an alley in Lekki Phase 1, barefoot, smoke on her clothes, her mouth bleeding. A child selling gala pointed at her. "Auntie, are you okay?" Zainab stood up slowly. Her hands were shaking, but her mind was clear. She'd done it. She'd crashed the Crimson card. But the world didn't change. The bank still worked. The influencers still posted. People still worshipped money like it was sacred. The only difference, now, the ATM was gone. But something had replaced it. 2 days later, a man in Abuja opened a brand new digital wallet app. His first alert. "Congratulations, you've been selected for unlimited wealth mode. Please accept to begin." He clicked accept. Be careful what you download. Be careful who you give your data to. And above all, never trust anything that gives you money before it asks for something back. They say technology is neutral, that its user decides how it's used. But what happens when tech won't decide it wants you? What happens when money worships itself? Be careful who you pray to. Be careful where your wealth comes from. And most of all, check your balance very carefully. Kindly like, comment, share, and subscribe for more thrilling stories. Bye.